one thing interesting to take a look at here, Tridd, is that Yikid, he was on 1 point last season at the beginning before he got replaced by Zik. He was playing that Zarya role. He's now transitioned over to the DPS role, playing on the Brigitte, flexing off onto some other stuff. So he has changed role a bit here, but he's a very promising young lad. I'd like to see how he plays today versus British Hurricane, but if anything to see from trials, I think he'll do an excellent job. But yeah, the neutral's going to be really important here. Who can take first precedent on point?
When Numlock's playing around the passive cover of the drum, exactly what he needs to be doing in this situation is Pocket looks to go around to the side with the rest of the team. Not straying too far away from the herd for now. It's not really got that option as Zenyatta when there's so much pressure in the neutral already coming through. Crown Drop going down to 50% HP. Second he drops that shield, he's going to get a lot of attention from the likes of Bocket, who has the range with these Orbs of Destruction. You can always see Huni going up in the air and immediately dismantled by Bocket. They're going to force around, take the territory away from Young and Beautiful, as well as get themselves the first cap.
It's such a massive pick there. And I mean, if there was a boop involved there to actually move Huni up into the sky, and Bocket, great reaction speed there, but once you remove that Zenyatta, you lose the Discord.
I don't know how else Zenyatta gets up that high, Blank.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he is levitating. I don't think he can fly, though. You are correct, Tridd. But yeah, you lose that Discord orb, and you lose a lot of damage on top of it.
Now Numlock has that ultimate in the pocket already. The Earth Shadow ready to drop. Crandop can match him with that, but the rally's going to be popped by Yikwid. Stunned up, not too early. The Shadow will drop onto the back line, only finding sooner, but the counter comes out from Numlock. 3 on the floor. That's 3 times as many as what came out for Young and Beautiful. Huni will still be alive from that, despite being potentially charged out there as soon as working towards that grab. But with Brucein now DMX, it's so easy for him to drop the grab, and it's going to be reacted the same way by Young and Beautiful. Transcendent coming out a little bit too late potentially here, but actually no, it's perfect. It's exactly what Young and Beautiful needed. They turned it back around on the British Hurricane, and they're only going to stall it out to about 55, potentially 60% here.
And this is what we saw in trials, actually, Tridd, from Young and Beautiful, is they have this excellent restraint and patience when it comes to ult management that they were a little bit lacking last season. Here, what we see time and time and again is that the way they cycle ultimates is really, really good. FD God waiting till the very last moment to use that sound barrier and showing that Huni was alive and ready to use that trans coming into the next fight. But now Young and Beautiful, they're set up, they have the Earth Shadow, they're self-destruct. Using those in tandem, they can create a lot of chaos for British Hurricane.
Bruce is going to kick things off with that self-destruct, and Crandop has the hammer. He's already found Sooner. He's at 88%. He's not going to get that grab online for the next fight. Jonas still has to play catch-up. Crandop north back. He's going to go in with the shift. Just missing out, but he's going to try and find the Shadow. Weaves it underneath the shield, and it's answered in kind by Numlock, and they're going to back off away from each other. Transcendence burnt from Huni, so that's not going to be available in the next fight. And Sooner's got the grab coming online to be out of sync with that.
Yeah, but now it's up to Yona. He really has to charge with his Graviton, so there is the counter grab available to stop any further aggression from British Hurricane.
As soon as now, going to press forward. 4 more percent, a couple of right clicks, but he's just so low energy right now, Blank. He needs to build that up if he wants to be an active participant. And there's Yona pulling the trigger on the grab. He did exactly what he needed. Counter coming out, but Yikwid and Yona have already found 2. And the beat will come out to reinvigorate this roster and make them excel British Hurricane's progress so far.
Yeah, a marvelous amount of aggression there coming out from Young and Beautiful to start that fight off. Just taking the initiative. Yeah, I think Sooner maybe wait a little bit too long on that grab.
Needed to build it up a little bit faster. Haffical working towards that self-destruct. Got it in the pocket when he comes back. Bok will be having the Transcendence online. So they might be able to play aggressively here if they're confident and able to go ahead and beat out Young and Beautiful in the ult charge race.
Yeah, you mentioned that Transcendence. That's something that Huni's got online a lot of the times. Bocket's not really had a chance to use his as much as he would have liked for British Hurricane.
90%, so this is the final fight here for British Hurricane. If they don't take control, they will be losing the first round. Shadow off to the side, it's so simple, it's so easy, and the barriers have already been used by Sooner to keep his team up. Now they're sitting in box Transcendence to make sure they stay alive here. They got Young and Beautiful off the point, but not decisively. Tell you what, they just let them have it at this point. There's the flip coming in. Bruce's already found Happy as the self-destruct will come out. Planted in the back, nowhere else to be found, and the counterattack is coming out from Young and Beautiful. Numlock plants one straight into the Shadow, but still finds Yikwid onto the floor. They press forward, and there's that grab. Being countered out, but Brucein found it, unable to get that one out. The flip will surely come in for Young and Beautiful here, and they should be taking away Sanctuary.
So, an amazing start by Young and Beautiful. This is not what British Hurricane want to start the game. A lot comes down to Yikwid saving on that rally, allowing him to basically pursue the rest of British Hurricane with that rally advantage. Zander did not have it here, and he was able to get into the backline and cause some chaos. But it is Bruceson, once again, this guy was crazy in trials, making some fantastic plays. His bombs were crazy, and now we're seeing that he has the ability to eat those grabs as well, let alone in the first map as well.
What a way to kick things off for Young and Beautiful. Like I said, they're coming up from the bottom where British Hurricane are coming back from the top.
Indeed.
If we look at it the way that what they were doing in the off-season, a trials run for Yab, an Atlantic showdown for British Hurricane, clashing somewhere in the middle, and Young and Beautiful have somehow found a way to overtake them as we move on to Mecha Base. Now, when we look at the variants, we don't see the standard 3-3 typically on this map. British Hurricane are putting Happy Cool onto that May, whereas Young and Beautiful are opting for Bruceson on the Ashe.
Interesting. We didn't actually see too much of Bruceson's other hero pool in trials. He was mostly playing that Diva, so it's interesting to see them take out this Ashe. They are taking themselves on this high ground where the Ashe can get the most value, but also on top of that, it means that the wall from British Hurricane in the form of the May just doesn't get as much value as they would have liked here. Young and Beautiful, they're just backing it up.
Keeping the distance away from them. That May wall can be used obviously to obscure Bruceson's line of sight, only temporarily. He's looking to find a safer angle, just peering around the terrain, giving away territory control. This is where British Hurricane should be able to shine, as they are able to play more up close and personal, and that's exactly the opposite of what Young and Beautiful want here. They will have to get bodies on the point to contest, and that's exactly what they're doing as Numlock presses forward. Happy Cool's going in with the right click. Yona's already found Danid. This might be the opportunity for them to go in, but there's the wall to isolate things off, but they've lost too many members already. Young and Beautiful going to get a very fast retake away from Hurricane.
We saw this in Atlantic Showdown, right? Danad going a little bit too far forward at times. We see this again here. Young and Beautiful immediately take advantage of that, remove him from the fight. The shield bash is lost, and now Bruceson's coming up on this Bob, which could be monumental coming to this next fight, especially because British Hurricane, they're lacking the tools needed to deal with it.
Happy Cool now switching over to the Diva instead, so they're not going to go with the main, knowing that they're now going to have to try and find some answer to relieve some of the pressure using that defense matrix that Happy Cool's going to be able to use. They've pressed in so early to this one. Bruceson has to retreat with the rest of Young and Beautiful, giving away the territory that they're allowed to concede. They don't have to worry too much about this territory as long as the point isn't contested for too long.
Because they have the range. Bruceson's able to just lay down fire here, and British Hurricane, they've got to invest resources to get towards Young and Beautiful.
And the Bob's right in the center of this fight. It's trying to split up Hurricane, but the Transcendence should be able to be a band-aid for that one. The grab's now being committed on top of it. Bruceson with the dynamite. The charge coming in from Crandop as well. This is clinical from Young and Beautiful.
This is working out marvelously. I'm loving the strat of Young and Beautiful. They are really taking the range to their advantage on what some would say a very, very claustrophobic sub-map here on Mecha Base. British Hurricane are really struggling to do anything, but now they have some ultimates. Maybe they're going to try and force the issue here using Danad's rally just to get into that backline, create some chaos and make sure Bruceson isn't continually putting down this damage.
Crandop will need to drop that shield for a second as the retreat comes in. This is just by the numbers. Bocket's found Huni on the outside. That's a change from the panel we've seen already, as Crandop will try and charge to get back to the rest of his team. The high ground trying to be contested by Yofi. The Bocket going to be dropped down as well. That Graviton's thrown somewhere as it's going to drop down from Crandop, and he leads immediately into the British Hurricane team, who have got the flip in that chaos and will stop them from losing Busan on a 2-0 scoreline for now.
Yeah, I think Yab were maybe considering retaking that fight, but as soon as they lost that extra player on FD God, they were really struggling to make those rotations. They needed that speed boost in that situation. Bruceson, yeah, going to make that switch to the Diva. Nice and smart here. Able to basically deal with the frontline pressure a little bit easier. That Diva Matrix really important in this matchup. They saved a lot of ultimates. Yona coming up on his Graviton on his own, Suna nowhere near his.
They got the Shadow to try and contend with. Shadow Bash coming in, goes for it, immediately blocked up by Numlock. Nice recovery for British Hurricane. He's going to go down to the Fire Strike. Not going to be able to get his one off. British Hurricane playing with 5 members right now. Crandop will not be dying alone, as Danad will join him. Bruceson and the rest of Young and Beautiful now have control of the point, and it's on Hurricane to go on the offensive and play right into them. You see Happy Cool dancing around. Bocket will get a pick onto Yikwit, but the D-Mech comes in. There's going to be a final kill as the flip surely follows. 85% is definitely guaranteed for them. We're in final fight territory now, Blank.
Yeah, we are. Just one fight here. Young and Beautiful could take the first map away from British Hurricane.
What a way!
Runners up of last season. It's crazy, yeah. Bruceson coming out here into Contenders with a splash. I'm loving to see it. The rest of Young and Beautiful playing extremely well. This is a massive difference from what we saw last season. Yona can end it all here with this grab. It will force out the Transcendence from Bocket, but there is 2 support ultimates for Young and Beautiful. They can force this fight.
Stunned up. They're not going to be able to participate in that fight. The Transcendence will add all the damage. Suna cannot be recovered from that one. The hatchet taken to him by Yona as Brucein will apply pressure from the high ground. Bucket finding Huni again. We've seen that many times before as the self-destruct will clear the point off. The flip coming in for Hurricane while overtime was in effect, but Crandrop is still dominating the kill feed for Yab as Numlock is going to be falling down as well. They're looking for more as Yona will move around to the point. Kills Happy before he can remech from the self-destruct, but he takes FD God with him, unable to be participating in that one. Yofi goes down low. He dodges out. How has he evaded that? That doesn't make any sense, Yofi. You should be dead, you madman. But Young and Beautiful have control of the point and will get the flip. Overtime still is perpetual for them as Hurricane cannot let off the offensive. Huni comes back on the wrecking ball to kill Suna, who also went for the clutch as Yona will put the grab down to lock up Yofi, and Brucein gets in his face. Damage will drop down as well. Young and Beautiful have done enough to take map number 1 away from Hurricane.
You just cannot keep these guys down forever. Young and Beautiful, they keep coming back. And now Season 2, stronger than ever it seems, versus British Hurricane. They set an explosive start to this series. We will be going over to Assault next, which I assume will just be as good. I think the major things we've seen from British Hurricane that needs to change at the moment is the fact that their over-aggression seems to be really costing them. They take a lot of fights, get split up. Numlock is away from the team. They invest a couple of resources, but it's not enough to keep them up because Young and Beautiful, they just keep applying the pressure.
Fantastic opening matchup from Young and Beautiful, who just never seem to leave Contenders. They go down, but they come straight back up again. And if they can keep up this momentum, take the series away from Hurricane Blank, they could be looking at one of their best finishes so far. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I'm guessing you're the same as well. Join us after the break to see some more. Welcome back, everybody. We're in the midst of Young and Beautiful versus British Hurricane, our first series of the day, and Yap have taken away Busan, surprisingly away from our Atlantic Showdown attendees, British Hurricane.
Indeed, yeah. So it's really nice to see Young and Beautiful coming back like this from trials. We were talking about earlier whether they just keep on coming back. It's also nice to see Brusen and Yona once again reunited. Both used to be on the Netherlands World Cup team in 2018. Obviously, all the contestants for World Cup were selected yesterday. You can check that on Overwatch Path to Pro Twitter. But we do have our next map here, Tridd.
Moving over to Temple of Anubis, and yesterday everyone seemed to be taking a page out of Clockwork Vendetta's book and playing a lot of Torbjorn, a lot of May, but most importantly, a lot of bunker and a lot of snipers.
Yeah, and you know what? That I was really excited to see that because we do actually have surprisingly a lot of amazing hit scan talent in EU. Sadly, we just lost KSP, the Widow God himself, to XL2, but we have many more players like Zapre we saw yesterday and Kevster, who was returning from NA to greener pastures.
We traded them 1 for 1.
Exactly.
One in,
yeah,
one out.
That's how
system.
we do it. Yeah.
British Hurricane, though, you know, they're putting Sparker into the roster. He is
Another
more of
Widow.
the hit scan proficient. Yeah. You know, we often see Sooner, although he can play these hit scan DPS, typically is a Zarya specialist for the roster. But when it comes down to these maps, we saw it last season as well in the Atlantic Showdown, when they know they're going to be playing a hit scan DPS, they want to put Sparker in because that's more of his specialty, even though he can also play the Zarya to a similar but not surmountable level.
No, yeah, I think that was one of their weaknesses during Atlantic Showdown is the Sparker. Yeah, his Zarya just isn't quite up to scratch with Sooners, and that's meant to be expected, right? But his Widow is pretty damn good. So I'm excited to see that here. But Young and Beautiful, they are not bringing out the bunker. How are you? Oh, okay, never mind. Actually, how are you up there? Explain yourself.
It's in his name, FD God.
FD God. He's in the clouds. He's in the clouds, looking down on us all.
He's putting on a DJ set for us. But Happy Cool already been hit by that biotic grenade, so he's been spotted out already by Young and Beautiful. Actually, I don't think he's been spotted out. I think Hooney just yeeted a grenade over to the spawn room, and Happy happened to get hit the second he walked out. And he was like, I'm not playing Sombra now. He changed over to the D.Va. Obviously, though, D.Va would do a lot better against like the Ana. You can DM that biotic grenade and shut down that huge potential that hero has. So it might be the right call here for Happy Cool, as he's going to move in with the rest of British Hurricane. And a lot of territory been given up already by Young and Beautiful, but that seems to be their game plan. Get Hurricane where they want them, and then spring a trap. Yeah,
really, this composition from Young and Beautiful, the playing, it lacks a little bit of damage, but Hooney, if he can get that Nano Boost online quickly enough, it will give Crandop the time to get out the Primal Rage, and then they'll just start cycling those ultimates and keep control of the points. They have the Nano Boost now, it's been applied. And as you can see, Crandop's charge just zooming up.
And I imagine Numlock would have been able to keep up with him, but he just got slept off the point as well by Hooney. So he's going to jump in. Anti, but he does have the Primal Rage. The Anti has expired. He's trying to do something here, but you know how Brigitte is. She just doesn't die. And so Numlock's not going to have a good time with that one. Crandall got took down by Happy. He slept again. Hooney's having such a fun time with Numlock this time. Pause coming in very briefly. I'm not sure what the reason is for that, but we will hopefully get back into the game as soon as possible.
Numlock's just like, you know, I've had enough. I've been slept too many times. I'm taking a nap myself now. But no, that's a pretty decent first point for British Hurricane. Actually, I think a lot of that comes down to some excellent calling going on. They seem a lot more calm and basically collected here on Temple of Anubis, whereas before they were struggling a little bit. Now the Discord Orb is being applied to Crandop in the situation. The rest of the team are just all piling on.
So it's fantastic. Keep seeing what Young and Beautiful are going to pull out here. Numlocked and the rest of British Hurricane do look like they're starting to wrestle control of the point. So I imagine when the pause does resume, or gameplay does resume, we're going to end up seeing them taking on point A. And they've still got a lot of time in the bank to be able to move on to point B, if that is the case.
Yeah, there is 5 members still available for Young and Beautiful. And with Numlock sleeping, there is a rally also in effect for Young and Beautiful. There is a very slim chance that they can bring this back, but a pick has to happen. They are desperate for it right now.
You can see Daned, he's got a rally on the point as well. High ground being controlled by Yona for the time being. Biotic Grenade going to boost the healing available to Young and Beautiful. That's going to be a D-Mech for Brusen. Bocket to pick him out of the sky as he went through that eject animation. But Numlock finally got his revenge on Hooney, able to pick him off as well. And there's that point A capture coming in for British Hurricane, 6 minutes 30 to translate over to point B.
Some nasty staggers there towards the end. Both teams with this Graviton, I think this is going to be quintessential coming into the next fight here. Depending on how they use it, I think Young and Beautiful will be best Apt using it as a defensive ultimate to prevent the actual aggression coming out from British Hurricane. Both teams over that Reinhardt as well. This is an excellent point to use that shatter. But a lovely boot will stop Numlock in his tracks, knocking him off the bridge.
He's back in position. Yona's going to drop the grab right on top of him. Sound barrier immediately coming out from Yofi. Will allow British Hurricane to stay in this fight and keep moving forward. There's the counter grab finally coming out. What's the answer for Young and Beautiful? They're going to drop the beat, but the self-destruct on top of them. Boop separates the team, and FD God is going to be left in the wind. Will drop down, and self-destruct being traded back out. Nano Boost onto Crandop. He's swinging away, but there's too much aggression coming out, and the Transcendence guarantees it. Nice block from Numlock there. Fast reactions to shut down a detrimental ultimate. Will get knocked off. Moves over the Mega, so he won't die. And it is until Sparker comes in for reinforcements to help out Bucket. British Hurricane, they've not done this decisively. We had this problem yesterday. They were getting a few kills, but not enough to secure the point. They're chasing the rest of Young and Beautiful into the spawn room. Now we're starting to look a little bit more accelerated, and there's a little more energy into this fight.
Yeah, and with Spark coming on this Graviton, he will be able to use that to pull everyone into place and basically finish off this point. 33% already accrued here for the team. Young and Beautiful, this Graviton from Yona has to be massive if he can get it out in time.
Crandop's moved over to the Wrecking Ball because they are in the full storm mode. Wants to get on there and stay on there as long as possible, and the high shielding will help him with that. Transcendence comes out nice and early from Pocket. They don't want to lose control of this one. Graviton will keep a couple of members on the point still, so they're not off. But Sparker will still deal with Yona, as they're going to have the swing from Numlock. Crandop will be saved by the beat coming out just in time by FD God. The answer comes out from Yofi. Young and Beautiful may not be able to win this one, but they're certainly burning the time bank of British Hurricane.
Great take there from Numlock, actually sacrificing his shield, knowing there's no Earth Shatter to be used to get rid of all those mines on the field. Yona used the Graviton. I don't think it's enough though here.
Still staggering this one out. FD God coming over the top. Happy's about to have the bomb, and that might be enough to clear the point to allow that final 9% to come through. He drops it right in the middle to get the biggest LOS he can. Bruceson goes up in the sky to drop his own bomb for the fast remake as well. He's not able to contend this one. Young and Beautiful still fighting away from this as Yofi will take out Huni, who would be one of the stickier members to get off this point. It's thankful they've got him first. Yona's going to move back in here. There's a Graviton again onto Bruceson and Crandall. Now they've locked down the ball. They have to finish him off. They've done just that. Only one member remaining, and they were so close to the 100. They got it. Valiant effort from Young and Beautiful to burn that much time.
Q stole that. I think a lot of credit has to be given to FD God in that situation. There were so many boosts from him knocking players off the bridge where they have to make that long rotation back onto the point, effectively making a 5v6 or a 5v4 in a lot of situations for Young and Beautiful, where they could just extend out that time, let the wick burn for a little bit longer there. But now, 3 minutes 53, it's a respectable time bank. Young and Beautiful hoping to match that or do a little bit better, because 3 minutes 53, that does open a lot of possibilities for a point A and a point B run, and then sometimes with even time remaining on it. So we could be seeing a very, very long Temple of Anubis here. British Hurricane, they want to squash that before it can happen here on point A.
Getting ready for them to run out. It's time for British Hurricane to go on the defense. Young and Beautiful have already shown that they're willing to flex beyond the compositions we usually see in Europe. Mainly Bruceson going over to the Ashe on Mecha Base was quite the surprise. But if we are looking at snipers like we saw yesterday, could put Bruceson back onto it as well. You have that option available for Young and Beautiful if they want to go against it. We talked about teams being reminiscent of Clockwork Vendetta. Blank. What the British Hurricane have for us today? It's the Old Clown Road.
It is the Old Clown Road here. They're going to show it to us. They're going to honk the nose a little bit at Young and Beautiful as they're moving into the point. Hopefully that's not enough to deter them, and British Hurricane might have to get some picks here as well. But Young and Beautiful, if they do come up with this composition here, they're going to be relying on a swift and decisive victory in the form of a Nano Blade, or just a Nano onto Winston, forcing out some of those defensive ultimates, and afterwards Yikids can just use the Naked Blade itself.
Genji goats. Hog. Yikwid's moving out on the Genji. I don't know how long he's going to stay on. I don't know how long we're going to be able to stay on this one, though. Yikwid's is still on that hero for now. And Huni's going to be going over to the Ana as well. So we still got that triple tank. Crandop on the Winston, dives into the backline. Bardic Grenade did find Numlock and Bucket. Not much else going in. Yikwid's taking care of Danid's turret. A couple of dinks onto the head of Crandop. Okay. And that's a Hail Mary. Easy as she does. Right off the buck to the face as he lands right in the face of Sparker, who will be able to get away from the follow-up progression coming in from Bruceson. This is a dejected Young and Beautiful being forced back on their first offensive.
Indeed. And I think this push, though, here for Young and Beautiful is a lot about building ultimates. they didn't really get too much charge going, but there is the first one. Yik is obviously only on 20% charge right now. He's not doing the greatest of jobs, except he does take out Yofi.
That's exactly what he needed to do. You saw Yofi repositioning for the resurrection, and now he's been able to find that one out. They're going to throw in the anti-nade right on top of Happy, shut down the healing, and get that first point capture. So it was looking shaky to kick things off. But Young and Beautiful, they had the will, and they certainly had the way.
Yeah, it became very sharp all of a sudden as soon as Yikids start popping there, and they have time to wait in the clock right now. I think the next fight is going to take a little bit longer whilst they wait for Yikids to get that blade. As we know, Temple Anubis point B, the respawns are far better for the defensive team, as we just saw from Young and Beautiful's defense there. So they will either have to rely on a big Graviton or just finding a big pick like that onto Yofi.
They know exactly where Yofi is. Send the Nano Monkey, and he's going to be able to just flow that energy straight into Yofi. Now he's playing around the side, has the leap, so he wants to get away and out of cover from that hook.
Oh,
that's
so
low. If he just presses forward, he might be able to get away with that one. Hafticle's going to fire out the whole hog, but no one's in sight for him to be able to do anything. Nanoblade is available for Yikwid if he wants to go on a cleanup, but Pocket went down. I don't think the Blizzard even came out. It cancelled it out. That's absolutely huge for Young and Beautiful. The Molten Core will be able to get onto the floor and get everyone off the point, but another anti-nade on the Hafticle. The dash from Yikwid will deal with it enough. And now they're going for the melee onto Yofi, chasing him down. So here comes the Dragon Blade. Finds Yofi, as expected, immediately straight into Pocket, who hides in the ice block. Slasher with Sparker before he can even dodge the damage. Young and Beautiful are taking this one away, Blank.
The blade, it's big here from Yikids. We've not seen much of this Genji before, but damn, this guy is popping off at the moment. He is putting an end to British Hurricanes' defense. Just a little bit remains before they do take point B, and there it is, a better time bank. This could indeed be a long Temple Anubis after all.
We've already seen AT lose a series yesterday. I don't know if we're prepared to see British Hurricane do the same.
Oh dear, this is incredible to see though. All these teams coming up from the woodworks basically and showing themselves off. I'm very happy to see it. Most of all, what it's nice is seeing the improvement of these players and just this steady grind from these guys, showing that, yeah, the passion is still absolutely there, even when they get relegated down into trials. And for teams like Shoes Money Crew as well, seeing Mouse yesterday performing ridiculously better than he did when he was in Season 1 of this year. It's nice to see. British Hurricane, however, I know they're a great team. I know they are. This is not the British Hurricane I saw from last season, and I think that once they get into the groove of things, they'll be absolutely fine. From what I've heard, scrims are going well for them, but yeah, as we know at the end of the day, scrims are not everything.
Yeah, I don't know what the current conversion rate of scrim bucks to actual results
is.
It's
low.
So I don't actually put too much weight into that one. British Hurricane teasing us potentially, but they're going to back off into what looks like a Zarya, but put Daned onto the Ashe. They will have a little bit more range with the next attempt.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you only get the... Oh, he's going back over the Brigitte here. Maybe just scouting there for Daned, but will immediately get anti-naded as Huni just wants to get a little bit extra charge towards his Nano, knowing he needs it early on to give the Crand up so they can start cycling out that Primal Rage. Last time, however, British Hurricane were able to break this defense very easily.
Granov has to dive back into this team. He will get the reinforcements as British Hurricane have conceded the territory they took for themselves. Now they're moving over to Mega. They'll stay in there as they emerge onto this platform. Crandop getting the cleave in to build up that ult charge. Numlock trying to play catch-up as well, but they're very much a scattered Young and Beautiful. He's not going to have as much of an easier time as Crandop is with the condensed Hurricane lineup. Now onto the point. Drops down. They're going to immediately back up with the jump jet. Happy chasing as far as he can. The nano boost available to use here. Needs to give it over to someone. Has to use the anti to keep him up. Fires it over to Crandop, immediately stunned up. He's able to exert that pressure onto Brigitte. Damage will get all of Harmony and Transcendence to keep him up. Now the Primal Rage to swap out for the nano boost so you can have that high HP presence on the point. Still being stunned up. Bullied even into this corner. HP and the jump packs going down low as he gets back up, but he's trying to get into the platform. Hafticle's own Primal Rage expired, but that's the grab coming out from Sparker, able to find Huni. Counter grab coming out as they dive in, but the beat is there to deflect the attack. Zander will find Crandop. FD God wall ride in to try and burn more of this time bank, but British Hurricane have done enough to take point A.
Yeah, at this point, Young and Beautiful, they cannot make the same mistake they made last time. As you see it, everyone else just try and scarper it. They got staggered quite hard, which meant that their defense on point B wasn't as palpable as it could have been. Now British Hurricane have some ultimates to work with. The Transcendence on such an enclosed point like point B on Temple of Noob is going to get huge amounts of value, absolutely hitting everyone at once at the same time. There's no need to split up.
There's that self-destruct over the top in the middle of a Transcendence. Crandrop wants to retreat back to the safety of his team, but Yofi says, no sir, that is not allowed today, as Crandrop is then killed off as well. Numlock has the Primal Rage in effect, gets the bubble as well as he stares down a couple of members of Young and Beautiful, trying to be a gatekeeper to this point, but they've got past him. He's not a very good Doorman. He will jump up.
Oh, no.
Tell you what is the best Doorman, though, Gravity, and it's pulling them straight off the points.
Oops, there goes Gravity, and there goes Young and Beautiful's hold on point B. Round 3 completing with 2 minutes 11 in the time bank. Ooh, we're staying in Egypt for a little while longer, lads. Young and Beautiful this time, will we see the same offense now that British Hurricane know what they're going up against? Obviously, it was very nice for Young and Beautiful having such a mobile composition, whereas British Hurricane, they were stuck in that, the old Clown Road comp, right, where things are very, very... It's immobile. So it means that your kids can get a lot of value just basically dashing around and not having to worry too much other than that halt hook combination. But yeah, they are going to go for it again. The Shimada brother right there on your screen. British Hurricane, they've dropped in the May this time, hoping to freeze up that suit.
It's Bocket moving over to it, which is, well, it's going to have to be the way it is. The only variance here is Sparker. We talked about yesterday, that is in the parameters of the Clockwork Vendetta comp, because Monk Mother will often fall back to a single healer composition and you go onto the sniper. That's only enabled really by the survivability of the remaining members of this composition. So really it does alleviate the pressure on Yofi to be that single healer as Mercy.
Yeah, and the fact remains though is that Young People found a lot of use in Yikids, but they retain the ability to keep Brucin on that Diva, which means that the May Blizzard still is not as effective as it once would be if they were playing another DPS. The May Blizzard obviously being the slowest projectile ultimate in the game, making it very easy for these skilled Divas to eat up in the midst of a fight. But there goes the butt jump, making sure he doesn't get a headshot in midair. But it will be Yona first.
They cancelled the Blizzard without even having Defense Matrix last round plan. They just killed him faster than he could get it out. So not too worried about that one. Easy deflection coming in for Hurricane so far. Sparker, not the one getting to kills. It's actually Bocket who's making an appearance on the May.
So this time, it seems the British Hurricane taking a much more proactive approach, trying to shut down a lot of these pushes before they happen, knowing that a lot of Yab's basically game plan revolves around getting that ultimate charge early. Yik is currently in the backline, maybe looking for an assassination onto Sparker or Yofi on the high ground.
You can see the silhouette right now. He's coming up behind Sparker, immediately in the face. Misses a couple of shots, but they've got the pocket coming in. Dan's already found Crandop. Yik is going down low, gets the dash to finish him off. Yofi's attention, 2-split, keeping the rest of his team alive.
Nice headshot.
Will finish him, but they've already lost 2 members on Hurricane, and Yofi can only resurrect one if he has the cooldown and the safety to do so. He's opting to bring Sparker back into the fight, rather than Danad, who will have to take the long way back.
Yeah, now Yab are in a pretty precarious situation. Oh, that's a nice poop, stopping him from getting the shot off afterwards. Yona stays relatively unharmed in that fight, but Crandop, he's so low, and he will go down to Bocket.
And the tragedy of that is Yona only just got the cooldown for his bubble back online after his teammate died. He's unable to use that there. Sparker will take out FD God, and Jonah will be caught off by the wall out from Bocket. And a bit of a stagger, burning even more time in the Young and Beautiful bank.
And that's a huge success for British Hurricane, right? And it's all about burning time here on point A. Point B, as we know, is far harder to take a hold of. So the more time they can spend holding Young and Beautiful here, and also forcing out these big ultimates, meaning that they can't snowball into point B, is going to be really important. But this is the fight for them right now.
Nano Boost already being committed to Crandop, trying to dislodge Sparker from that high ground. He will move around, but he's being hogged out of the way. He's not being allowed to play Overwatch right now. Standard will get the kill onto Yona, displacing Sparker. Still has the Tesla cannon able to be used. He will put up the bubble for safety, but he's playing around as best he can. Yikids comes in for support, able to deal with Sparker afterwards. Crandop will jump and traverse the rooftops one side to the other. Yikids has the territory, pushes through, but Yofi's there with the pocket. Pocket comes in with the icicle straight through the cybernetic head. The Sparker will eye up another shot here, chasing after Crandop, who's looking for the retreat, eyeing up some follow-up kills off the back of a 1-5.
But only the 2 frontline ultimates used for British Hurricane, and Happycool's well on his way to his next whole hog. Sure, Young and Beautiful used the nano boost though, but Hooney's already up there. But again, the major thing here is the time. And Yab know it's ticking away right now. They need to get to the second point quick if they want any chance of winning this assault map type.
They get 30 seconds in the bank if they capture point A. They've got 4 ultimates bordering on 5 when Hooney gets the nano boost online right now, so they have options to play with. Could go for the fabled Nano Blade if they don't want to need to commit it over to Crown Drop and try and get him a Primal Rage for that longevity in the fight. There you go, Nano Blade combination already being used. Yiquit's unable to get onto the platform he wants. He's heading straight for Bucket, who will just ice block this damage away. Bit of a whiff blade, will get the deflect kill onto Danid instead. Then the dash through onto Bucket. Yofi's already gone in for the res, but they've taken out too many members of British Hurricane for them to surely hold on to this one. Young and Beautiful will be taking point A.
Holy shit, Mada Clan, this guy is playing well today. That reflect there was insane towards the end. I didn't think it. I thought, look, that's a failed Nano Blade right there.
It was still a failed Nano Blade.
And then he was like, I got the deflect. This is my ultimate ability.
Just because he got a deflect at the end doesn't mean it wasn't a failed Nano Blade. He didn't get anything.
It was definitely a failed Nano Blade. I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying that the aftermath, he was like, well, you know what? If I can't do the Dragon Blade, I'll just do it the good old-fashioned way.
Basically pulls out the reverse card, no you.
Uno.
Yes, no you. Yeah. And then unfortunately Danid will be taken out. The rest of the British Hurricane did falter. Crandop already gone for that 180 pivot. Needs to pop the Primal Rage a little bit earlier than expected. He's keeping Sparker out of the spawn room. That's so unfortunate. Juggled outside, and he was within arm's reach of safety. As Numlock will drop down that supercharger in cover. The barriers deleted so fast, and here comes the Blizzard as well, but Yiquit has already taken care of Bucket. There's no more supercharging for them as Numlock will be joining him. 3 members on the point as we enter sub 1 minute. The aim of the game for British Hurricane is to repel this attack or, at best, go away and get them down to 0 seconds remaining so they can force the draw.
Very successful there. They get the mech out of the way, but Crandop, he is still going. Hooney gets frozen out of the coalescence. Huge. A lot of healing removed right now. They have to rely on the sound barrier.
40 seconds remaining. If they hit that 0 and do this in overtime, British Hurricane will not lose this map. There's no way they can do it. They're having to force this one out. Longevity is the name of the game. Happycool coming in on the Roadhog. Numlock switching over to that Winston to get on there, but it's Sparker on the Wrecking Ball picking up the kill feed. British Hurricane have sent Young and Beautiful packing. They're going to just pull out the win here and now, Blank. It's not about the draw. British Hurricane going to tie this up at the half.
Yeah, I mean, there is a very little chance that Young and Beautiful are getting back to this one. They will have a Blizzard in the pocket, but that's about it. But it's really down to Yona or Crandop to touch the point, either the Primal Rage or the fast Tracer.
He was brute off. Going to have someone to touch it. Instead, I believe it was Mr. FD God, as the Blizzard will come out. Bucket has been locked up. He's actually gone down with the Blizzard in the pocket, and the Molten Core will come out. Happycool's going down as well. So British Hurricane need to find a way back on the point. Yona's camping off to the side, waiting for someone to come in. Has to dash over the Molten Core, as Young and Beautiful have been able to bring this one back by taking out some key picks. The team kill comes in. They cannot win this map, though.
No, so we will be most likely, well, definitely either looking at a draw or a win for British Hurricane. British Hurricane only needs to take 33% of point A. It's going to be tough for Young and Beautiful to hold this. You have at best right now 2 fights for British Hurricane. That's more than enough time to get ultimates online. So Young and Beautiful, they have a tough road ahead of them. And when it comes down to it, they're the ones who are going to be forced to use ultimates, and British Hurricane can back out in that instance and come back again with ultimates of their own. I worry right now for Young and Beautiful. Will the pressure get to them, or can they hold out for the next map for the draw?
Seem more coordinated than previous iterations of Young and Beautiful. I imagine they probably got a better mental game going as well. So if there ever was an iteration of this roster to not be tilted by or put off potentially by this prospect that stands before them, it's this one we're looking at right now.
Yeah, and as our resident other color caster said, Legday, he was saying that the communication looked really, really strong for them on the first map here when they were deciding to move off the point in overtime. So if that communication can stay crystal clear in this upcoming couple of fights, maybe Young and Beautiful can get the draw out. But again, so far, British Hurricane have had the most success versus Young and Beautiful here on point A.
You treat Harry like he's a sideline reporter.
he is my sideline reporter.
Now here's the weather. Here's the weather with Legday. Signs of anti-tilt and good coordination, breezing over the Young and Beautiful coast. But it's British Hurricane on the offense. 2 minutes in the clock, 33% to secure the win. They do not want to be going into the halftime with a 1-0 scoreline in favor of a team they, on paper, should be beating.
And the question is, can they weather this hurricane at the end of the day? I mean, Legday's predicted the hurricane, but can Young and Beautiful bring out the umbrellas in this situation? So far, they have been much more successful. Numlock's initial push did not find as much value as it did the first time around, and Crandop is being far more careful.
That's been bashed up. Pushed back as well, getting a lot of resources to stay alive. Back onto the high ground where his supports may be, but then they're back forced into this corner. They're so close to losing control of this one. You've got to remember, they're a couple of percentage away. Huni will have the nano boost online, committed nice and early to Crandop. He's accelerating up the ult charge. Bocket and Happy have found two of their own. He needs to get a kill here to pop the primal rage and stay on the point to contest. But he's jumped off, he has to go back in. Brucean will take care of Numlock. He's going to repel the attack. He's found himself a Bocket in the corner, forcing out the translators nice and early for Havical to then go find Brucean, as he will jump up into the skies, staying alive and burning more this time bank. 1 minute remains with British Hurricane, and they're inches away from getting the map. FD God's about to get the sound barrier online, has to pop it early, but they're grabbed off at the point.
Again.
British Hurricane will tie up the series going into the half.
Suna may have had a bit of a struggle on map 1, but his gravitons have been absolutely on point so far here, Tridd, keeping them off the point a lot of times, making sure they can secure it. So very happy to see that at the end of the day. But Young and Beautiful, they did put up a really valiant fight. I was kind of a little bit confused when they kept running with that same defense every single time on point A, despite them knowing the British Hurricane had a pretty fancy answer for them at the end of the day. I think maybe they could have switched up, especially because that was, what was it, third time that British Hurricane were going against it. Maybe pulling out the CV comp. But seeing as it's a very, very fresh team coming from Trials, perhaps that's just not something that they have prepared.
Fantastic open by Young and Beautiful, taking away Busan in quite dominant fashion against British Hurricane, especially when it came down to mecha base. Brucean was a star of that team on this Ash.
He really was. And one thing I really like seeing from Brucean is that when he's on that D.Va, he's not only preoccupied from getting onto that backline, making sure Bocket's having a hard time, he also understands that the pattern of Hafikul's play is very much to get into the back, get on those tanks, use those micro missiles. We saw it in the middle of this game where he was just literally sat behind him, the D.Va Matrix just straight through Hafikul, saying, not today. I can cancel you out with this and make sure the rest of my team, with the man advantage, will just win out this fight.
It's mutually assured frustration when it's D.Va versus D.Va. Yeah. They're just able to get in there and make sure neither of them have a good time. Hafikul will be throwing out a bomb right down to the point. Thankfully, catches out FD God because the team was absolutely scattered off the back of that Graviton Surge. This is a nice little play from Sparker. Gets the dink in the air with the repel. But Yiquids surprising us all by bringing out something we don't often see in Contenders, or especially in Europe recently, which is the Genji. This wasn't the play that we were looking for. Did get a nano blade that fell a little bit short, but he compensated with some style at the end. He stuck the landing.
He did stick the landing. It was falling through the air, arms were flailing, but yeah, once he got to the ground, he was just okay. I think one play that I would like to talk about is FD God, though. I think there have been a few times where he's kind of fallen off the wall when he's wall riding, or just been in some awkward situations where he gets picked up afterwards. However, his sound barriers are pretty crucial to the team at the moment, and I think where it counts, he's playing very well, but there are some cracks at the moment where I feel like there could be some improvement there, but I think that's something that will happen towards the end of the season as we go on through, because players, they improve dramatically as Contenders goes on. Yeah,
what is Contenders about if it's not about improvement, right?
Exactly.
So it's exactly what they need to be doing. You know, you expect a high level of performance, but you also expect room to grow. FD God did get one of those sound barriers off at the end there, but unfortunately they grabbed off the point, so you're not able to do much about it. It's been a little bit all for naught when it comes around to that, unfortunately.
Suda has been really quite annoying for Young and Beautiful, where he's like, well, I don't need to technically kill you. I just need to hold you in that position for 6 seconds, take a snapshot, and then we're done, and we can go to the next map.
Yeah, there was definitely one to add to the photo album to go ahead and give themselves a victory going into the half, tied 1 apiece. We will go ahead for a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring you Hollywood.